Dolphins easily capture our affection and excite our imagination. They and their relatives, the great whales, are mammals like us. Their ancestors walked on land, but they explored the sea, and their bodies changed to meet the needs of life underwater, becoming streamlined with powerful flippers and a tail. They can hold their breath for 7 minutes, dive to 500 meters, swim at 50 kilometers an hour. And they know each other as individuals. Postures, whistles, and clicks are their language of sight and ultrasound. Together with touch, it is a rich language that we are learning to interpret. They're even sensitive to changes in the Earth's magnetic field as it is influenced by different rocks under the sand. That way, they know where they are. Also under the sand live eyed flounders, flatfish, amazingly camouflaged but easily detected by the echolocation system of a dolphin. Pulses of ultrasound, focused by the fat in a dolphin's forehead, may be strong enough to stun prey. Here, echoes received by the dolphin are revealing where the flounders lie. We flatter ourselves that dolphins seem to like us. They appear to seek our company and certainly make use of our boats. Riding a bow wave is an easier way to travel. Perhaps they first did this on the bow waves of large whales. Sailors throughout history have marveled at these companions in the sea. Perhaps the dolphin's lack of fear has protected them. In many cultures, it is much of a crime to kill one as it is to kill a person. Whenever people enter the dolphin's world, how magical it is that the animals readily choose to spend time with such intruders. How willing they are to share their language, to copy our behavior, even as we try in vain to imitate theirs. Acrobatic, strong, and intelligent, dolphins have evolved to be masters of the sea. They live by fishing, hunting as a team, and so do fishermen around the world. Remarkably, in several places, dolphins and men have combined their skills in the common pursuit of fish. Along the coast of Brazil, the shallow water is opaque. Fishermen cannot see the shoals of mullet that the dolphins have easily echolocated, using ultrasound. These dolphins signal the position of a shoal to the fishermen, and with a special rolling dive, tell the men to cast their net. The dolphins grab the escaping mullet, and the fishermen haul in the rest. The partnership works well, and has done so for a very long time. No wonder dolphins capture our affection and excite our imagination. An ocean of shifting sand, its dry waves whipped by a hot wind, scorched by sunlight, frozen by night. Surely this is a lifeless place. But no, there are plants and animals here that can withstand the heat, conserve moisture, and exploit this harsh land. Among them, the camel, its body able to cope with extremes, little water, sparse food, long distances, searing heat, and at the same time raise its young by suckling them on a rich flow of nutritious milk. Long ago, they came to North Africa and the Middle East from North America, where they are now extinct. They lived wild and multiplied in the great deserts, wandering at will, scenting water at amazing distances, surviving for several weeks without it. Before humans existed, camels and their varied companions conquered the deserts. In time, to this inhospitable and unpredictable place, people did come, and the wild camel lost its freedom some 5,000 years ago. But camels and the desert nomads struck a fine bargain. The animals sheltered their owners from a brutal blasting of sand in a storm. Camels can close their nostrils, and their long eyelashes protect eyes liberally washed by tears. And when the storm is over, the camel will march unfailingly, laden with whatever merchandise the nomads have for sale. As in the wild, the caravan consists of female camels. A male camel is at the rear, driving this herd from behind. The men have harnessed the natural hierarchy and behavior of the animals. The human foot needs a sandal to tread the sand. The camel steps barefoot on two splayed toes, cushioned to spread the load. On these broad, elastic soles, the camels cruise over the sand, stately cargo ships in the sandy ocean. On their backs ride men's lives and their own food. The hump is a store of fat, an energy reserve that also shades their bodies from the penetrating heat of the sun. The male signals his sexual excitement with his inflated cheek pouch, but he's under human control. His job, to keep the females going forward. Soon, they'll camp by a well for the night. Before milk can be drawn from a camel, a calf must be used to stimulate the flow. The milk keeps well and also makes good cheese. She'll give between 2 and 14 liters a day. Drawing water from a well is something the camels can't do. Although untethered camels are unlikely to wander, this bond between them and their owners is natural and strong. A thirsty camel can drink as much as 200 liters at a time, rehydrating its body in less than an hour. Unlike a dehydrated person, the camel does not lose water from its blood, and its heart is not likely to fail. Desert people have great respect for their camels, even though these animals have some quite unpleasant natural habits. Somehow, at a ceremony like this courting festival, the camels are controlled and surprisingly well behaved, even becoming creatures of grace and beauty. Camels were domesticated much the same way as horses. Their social structure is similar. So why not race them as well? There has to be a winner and money to be won. Racing camels are big business in modern Dubai, and the females are champions at endurance competitions over several kilometers. Man and camel are now inseparable, a modern partnership sealed 5,000 years ago. A bird's eye view of Hong Kong, an island city close to mainland China. Almost 6 million people cluster here, hardly room for bird or dragon. Humid subtropical air rises from valleys between cliffs of stone and steel. To the sharp eyes of a black kite, this is a rich feeding ground. Agile and maneuverable, these kites are the most successful of all birds of prey. Worldwide, they are also the most numerous. They evolve their skills in natural landscapes of woodland and open plains, competing with other hunters, such as those of the African savanna. The kite's telescopic vision homes in on the drama below. They'll choose their moment carefully. The lions are not going to share their precious food easily. The kite's success is built on boldness and tenacity in the face of hunters ready to spend a surprising amount of energy defending their kill, or even snatching a kite for a snack. The birds have chicks to feed, and risks must be taken. Soon, the lions will tire. The black kites will seize their opportunity. A quick check on what's been grabbed, and home to the family. Black kites pair for life and even have favorite nesting trees they'll use year after year. The male brings food for the chicks and for his mate. Only the female feeds the chicks, cutting their food up for them. The parents must keep up this routine for some 40 days before the chicks are ready to leave the nest. Africa, like the rest of the world, changed under human influence, presenting more opportunities for convenient scavenging. In Kenya, birds such as bulbuls cashed in on tourist lunches. And kites also noticed that humans are less protective of leftovers than lions are. The bulbuls had better get their food down quickly. Black kites are not inclined to share. Wherever people are densely crowded in Africa or Asia, the numbers of black kites have increased. Hundreds patrol the streets of Karachi, bringing their ancient savanna skills to bear on a concrete landscape, carpeted with fast food ready to take away. Most of the scraps are eaten on the wing. Once medieval London benefited from such refuse collection. Generations later, these birds of prey have made many modern cities their own. Between the glass castles of Hong Kong, black kites still fly. They are reaping the rewards of their talent for adapting to whatever new world they inherit. We aren't the only animals to be plagued by flies. These men, cutting up meat in the savannah, might be grateful to the fly in the lion's eye for distracting the hunter. The fly, attracted by the smell of the meat, could be grateful to the lion for bringing it closer. From the fly's point of view, flies and people have got on very well ever since humans lived in caves and left food around. House martins and other anti-fly creatures persecute them in Africa and in summer in Europe. Flies are always busy reproducing to make up the losses. This dead shrew is being converted into maggots by the thousand, very quickly and undercover. This is natural recycling of protein. The freshly emerged flies head for our caves as quickly as possible, attracted by the dark interior, and don't we make them welcome? It's only the smell of food that entices them. Their compound eyes take no notice of the furniture. But in the interests of health, Cave Person is fighting back. Fortunate for the fly is the fact that it sees us as ponderously slow in our actions. The fly is on a faster schedule. It dribbles on a plate, liquefying its food and eating the meal in the time it takes us to pour the tea. It's sprinkling bacteria around as well as it sucks up the mess, and it's probably infected that sugar lump as well. With the speed of a sleeping elephant, someone tries to swat the fly. No chance. Now, where's the sugar bowl? No fly wipes its feet before regurgitating onto our food. It was in the dustbin 5 minutes ago. Liquefied energy is sucked up by the proboscis. It's a short life, though fast, efficient, and fecund. But it'll need to find some meat on which to lay its eggs. The cook only left it there for a moment or two, but in that time, a fly can lay 100 eggs. It would prefer to be laying them in a manure heap. They may have done that already. If all maggots in a generation survived to become flies and kept reproducing once every 7 days, by only the 4th generation, there would be 6 times as many flies as people on the globe. Fortunately, most die. This man's job is to keep as many alive as possible. He's managing a maggot farm. Tens of thousands of pedigree flies produce millions of maggots in a thriving industry, supplying the nation's anglers with bait to attract fish to their hooks. Pits full of maggots await sale by the gallon. 4 million anglers throw 2.5 million gallons of maggots into Britain's waterways every year. Someone discovered that one way to give a maggot fish appeal is to color them with a dye. Psychedelic maggots await their fate. The fly has been harnessed to serve our own ends, but there are plenty still out in the wild, and they are not our friends. When the glaciers of the Ice Age retreated, Europe became cloaked in forest. Among the many creatures that exploited the forests were some animals as intelligent as dogs and whose lives have become closely involved with ours. Wild pigs are to be found in many parts of Europe, Asia, and the Far East today. Hunting wild boar in France is a popular sport. The French call the striped piglets marcassins. Mother suckles them regularly. They roam freely with her in the forest, and soon, like her, they live off animals and plant roots in the mud and litter underfoot. Wild pigs are the ancestors of domestic pigs. But when people and pigs first lived together, they probably did so much as the Huli people of Papua New Guinea care for their pigs today. Helping a pregnant sow to build the domed nest in which she'll give birth is one way of investing in the future of this family pet and the litter she'll produce. All wild sows build nests. Even modern domestic pigs would like to, but don't get the chance. Each piglet is a valued addition to the human family. It'll be cleaned and cared for as much as any pet. But at some time, even these pigs will be eaten. The Huli people will be as sad then as any owner losing a pet. But until such necessary days, the pigs are treated with great affection. They're taken around by the women on a lead, just like dogs. They can then root in the mud as freely as if truly wild and wallow to get cool. Their skin has few sweat glands. The piglets follow her, learning to use their snouts, exploring this exciting world of mud and water and smells. Every day, the Huli women take their pigs to their gardens. The women are going to dig the soil, and so are the pigs. The snout of a pig is strong and sensitive to touch, better than eyes for investigating objects in the soil. The youngsters must feed from mother whenever she lets down milk and calls them to her. They may be destined to become meat, but till then they are luxuriously pampered, unlike their cousins in the modern pork industry. The people who eat these pigs will never know them. None of us who enjoy pork will feel any sorrow at their death. Steel and concrete are the only surfaces these snouts ever know. There's no rich mud to feed and wallow in here. Food arrives in a bland slurry, their task only to eat it and make bacon. This sow never meets a boar. Her insemination has been artificial. Now she gives birth in the confines of a farrowing crate. She cannot turn to clean them, and she never built a nest to hide them. The piglets can only reach through the bars to feed from her. Safe from any risk, she might clumsily crush one or two, an overexpensive accident. They must defecate where they stand or lie, surely an indignity to such naturally clean and intelligent animals. When they have finished feeding, the piglets, crowded and bored, often fight. Common practice has been to clip their teeth and dock their tails to prevent injury. Later, they'll be separated from mother and herded together with others. At last, change is on the way to end the worst of these methods. Perhaps if we like pork, we should be prepared to keep a pig ourselves, to love and eat, just as they have always done in Papua New Guinea.